Joining us and forensic psychiatrist and body language expert Dr. Carole Lieberman in Los Angeles. We want to start a discussion with the Cruz penalty phase going on in Florida, and they are just about ready to get up and running in that courtroom, and we'll get you in live as soon as they are. Carole, to you first. I know you've looked into Nikolas Cruz quite extensively. What do you see in this young man that we should know about?
This young man has had the deck stacked against him from the time he was born, and his mother, who had been taking drugs, gave him up for adoption, and she had her own history of violence in her past. And then he was adopted by a nice family, but the father died when he was 6. And then the mother had to go to work, and she wasn't really around to supervise him very much. And there were so many things. She called the police 45 times. There are various estimates of how many times they were called, but at least 45 times. And they would come when he was doing things like torturing animals or setting fires or things like that. And nobody ever brought him. Well, they may have brought him to a psychiatric hospital, but they didn't Baker Act him. They didn't admit him against his will, and he needed that throughout his life, really. And so, I mean, I could go on. There are so many different things that happened to him before this incident. So basically, I think he is mentally ill. I think he's schizophrenic, and I know he's been given various diagnoses. No one seems to be able to agree on a diagnosis. But in any case, he was hearing voices. Demons, he called them. He took marijuana to try to quiet the voices, and that just made it worse, and on and on. And I think that my bottom line is, I think that it is really sad that we're having this trial, because it's putting the families through a lot of torture. The jurors are going to be put through a lot of torture, including going to the school. And really, the prosecutor should have, in my opinion, just accepted his guilty plea and given him life without parole.
Over time. Carole, when you look at the defendant in this case, he has had different reactions. He hasn't had a lot of reactions so far. Now we're into day 3, but head is down a lot. And in a trial this long, we're talking over a month, there is a human condition where you do get to know someone just by being in proximity. And do you believe that this is an advantage for the defense, for it to be so long, that you could not like someone, but that familiarity, whatever it is, whatever connection you have, because the jurors are staring at him, and they will for a month. Does that help the defense, or am I off base?
No, I think it does help the defense. I think particularly, yesterday or the first day or both days, when the videos and the audios were played, and when you could hear the gunshots, and he had his head in his hands, and it seemed like, he was sort of wanting to distance himself from what happened, and like almost thinking, did I do that? I couldn't have done that. That's horrible. Now, yes, could he have been acting, purposely doing that to make the jury feel sorry for him? He could have been, but I don't really think that that's the case. I think it was spontaneous. And I think they will get to see that he really does have mental problems.
And again, that will come through as we move forward in this process.